Last nut of 2022.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Outlier podcast. As always, I am your host, Saul, and I'm here joined by my co-host, Mr. Rogelio Quintero Jr.
Hey, what's up with the full name intro?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. You don't like that, or what?
I'm proud of that name.
Oh, well, you guys should be. There's only 3 of you guys.
There's actually
4?
no, there's no. I know somebody that has my exact name.
First, last? Really?
Yeah, just not Junior.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, guys. Well, we're going to start off with the Would You Rathers like always, but this week we do not have any submitted, so we will be pulling them from online. So the first one is, would you rather have the best house in a bad neighborhood or the worst house in a good neighborhood?
Oh, that's a real good question, actually. Probably the worst and the good, I guess.
Worst house in a good neighborhood?
Yeah, just because, like, if you have a really nice house in a bad neighborhood, you get what comes with a bad neighborhood, which is, high crime rate, all that stuff. Now, the other thing is on the other side of the spectrum, what you kind of have to deal with is, since you have the worst house in a good neighborhood, is your ego, basically, right? Like, you have to be humble enough to own that and not feel envious, and I'd rather take my chances there than, possibly getting robbed or whatever it is on this side.
Yeah, same here. I think for me it's just the safety factor because if you live in a good neighborhood, you're probably going to be safe, as opposed to if you have a good house in a bad neighborhood, now you're a target because you have money, right? Like, people know that you have the best house in the neighborhood, you're a target. In a bad neighborhood, that's horrible, right? So for sure, safety would come first for me. All right, the next one is, would you rather be filthy rich and live 400 years ago or be poor but live today?
Didn't we answer this already?
I don't know. I feel like we did one similar to
It was
this.
it was like a different one though, right? Like slightly
Slightly different,
similar.
but kind of the same concept.
Yeah, rich a long time ago.
Yeah, me too. Same here. I think of like kings and stuff, and like what they like. Rich back then was way more. Obviously, you didn't have as many nice things and the luxuries we do today, right? But
yeah,
I feel like you were able to get away with much more, whatever that means, You. All right, let's do one more.
Okay, cool.
Okay, would you rather end hunger or hatred?
Hunger.
Yeah, I'm gonna say hunger too. Because hatred, I don't know. I feel like,
I don't know, that is tough, because if you end hatred, because the only reason why we have hunger nowadays is not because we don't have
enough food.
It's because of greed.
Yeah.
So let's say, the opposite of hate is love. If we loved everybody, then we'd, distribute all the food. I don't know. That's a tricky one.
That's true, right? If there's no, yeah, but there are always going to be wasteful people, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've ever seen those videos of grocery stores and all the stuff they throw away that's like, honestly still good, but they can't sell it, right? Because it's like slightly bruised or whatever. So
I would go with hunger, because, I mean, obviously you don't want anybody to starve. And I think, like, ending hate, I think that even though as cynical as this sounds, I think there is a place for hate in this world, because we all kind of we all like to be a part of a tribe, and like there's extremes to your quote unquote tribe, and obviously being a part of something, you're not gonna like the opposition. And I feel like eliminating the hate, or like the need of wanting, I know hate's like an extreme thing, but I don't know. I just feel,
yeah. So that I was gonna say the same thing, is that we need some type of negativity, but hatred is like the ultimate example of negativity, right? Because with hatred comes violence and unspoken harm done to people because of that. So I don't know if I'd say it's a good thing, right? But I feel like hatred has a place. I just can't really think of what, but I'm sure there's some type of benefit to it.
Yeah, yeah. To your point, I think that if you got rid of hatred, I think you would mess with the balance of life.
Yeah, yeah. Just like there's super good things in the world, you need super bad things, right? I don't
Yeah,
know
you would
why,
be
right?
eliminating the
Like
yeah.
it's kind of hard to like think of why, but I'm sure there's a balance to it, right?
Yeah, you'd be eliminating the yin from the yang, the whole high risk, high reward. There's a song that I covered recently on my channel called "The Highs and the Lows." Talks about um, you have to receive them both. Like with the good times, you're gonna get bad times. So yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know what you guys think and what you guys would pick. Those are the three we have for today. We're gonna move on to our next topic, which is none other than super blown up topic right now going around with one of my new found favorite people to watch, which is Andrew Tate. He recently got arrested for what was supposedly human trafficking, but later came out to be false. So he's not in jail for human trafficking. He's in jail for money laundering. So he's been investigated for, I believe they said, since April. So it's been quite a while, which is, I guess, around the time he blew up, right?
I
Or
think
maybe,
so. No, I
maybe a
think he
little bit
blew up.
later. I don't know.
Yeah, way before
But
that.
either way, obviously, to me, it looks like he was kind of a target. Um, just just with the fact that they came out with the story saying that he human trafficked, and there's really no evidence, or that's not even the charge. Like they just made that up. So
Yeah,
media took that and ran with it. And if you guys go online and search that up right now, it's all everything you're gonna find is gonna say human trafficking. They haven't changed it, even though it's a false narrative. So I don't know. I find that very interesting. Not surprising, but interesting for sure.
yeah, I agree with you. Not surprising at all. I think that if you're at that level and like people are gonna hate you, people are gonna like try to like bring you down. We talked about that with Elon Musk, right? Where I think it was actually off air where we're talking about it,
The
and you're
emails
like,
and
I don't,
stuff.
yeah, and you were saying like, I don't understand how people can dislike Elon, right? And we kind of both came to conclusions like, well, yeah, it kind of makes sense because if you're gonna be like this public figure, you're gonna be liked and you're gonna be hated, and then with opinions as strong as Andrew Tate's, and the way he comes across, and relays the message, he's gonna have people trying to like take his ass down. I think that's what we're seeing here. I think he there's clips. I don't know if you've seen them. They surfaced like where he basically calls it out,
Yeah. So
where he
he,
basically talks about he's gonna
yeah,
be arrested.
yeah. So he talks about three major phases. The first phase is being canceled, which
Yeah,
if obviously we all saw that happen. He was canceled. Now he's back. The second stage is him being arrested on bullshit charges, is what he said, right?
yeah,
And it looks like they're bullshit charges because he got out of jail the same day. Apparently later on they rearrested him, and now he has to wait another 30. So he was out for a brief second, and now they have him again.
oh
And
snap,
the third and final phase he talked about was death. So he predicts that people are after him and they're gonna try to kill him next. That's what
yeah,
he said a long time ago, and we've seen it go step by step, just how he said. So the next thing is for him to be killed. Now, is that gonna happen? I don't think so, because it would be so damn obvious if they do it, right?
yeah.
Um, but it is interesting that he's kind of predicting these things step by step, and then to kind of see how the media and everyone's kind of going against him just adds to his case, right? Because he's like really just exposing all these people for who they are, right?
For sure, and it'd
So
be a shame to lose somebody like him because I think, and we talked about this yesterday about how we think that he spreads a very good message for this, the young men and the generation coming up that combats the opposite of what he's saying, which is like the feminists and all the equality, the equity, and all that. We think that he's a good combat to that. And it'll just be a shame. Like I know a lot of people dislike him. A lot of people are misinformed about him. Like you and I have a friend who really doesn't know much about him, and just absolutely hates him, like without much explanation. And I'm not trying to make fun of our friend, but that's usually how it works. Like these people that hate him don't know much about him,
Yeah.
they don't look too into him. So I mean, yeah, it'll just be a shame if he actually gets taken out.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like people disliking him, I know there's so many people that are probably watching this that don't like him and are saying, "What the hell are you guys, even talking about this guy for?" But the reason I like him is not really for what he, I guess, like says. Like, even though I find some of the stuff he says funny, I think he has some good messages, and a lot of young men are watching him right now. So I think that's very important, especially in this era where I feel like men are becoming weaker and weaker and less assertive and dominant. Like, we're just slowly becoming these betas, like, honestly. So he's kind of like reigniting that, like, hey, you're a man, like, this is what you got to do. No one's gonna hand you anything. No one's gonna care about you unless you do A, B, and C. Like, he's kind of teaching people what we lost, right? What men in the past had and have been knowing, right? So that's the reason I like him. I think he's good for men's mental health. I think so.
Yeah, for sure. Like, there's several clips of him talking about whenever you're going through some trial or tribulation, use that and flip it for good. Like, use that and then put it into your purpose. Like, focus all that negative energy and put it to positive. He says that all the time. And yeah, I mean, I will say this though, like I said last night, I mean, I don't absolutely love the guy. Like, I wouldn't say he's like the perfect human being. Like, he's no Jesus to me, but I do think he has a lot of great to offer. But I take what I can with a grain of salt. Like, I take what I can from him, apply what I think is applicable, and then I don't like just latch on to like all his ideologies. And I think that's a healthy thing for people to that are listening to understand too. Is like, I mean, if you're religious, this. God says in the Bible, don't have any idols, don't serve any other gods. But I think that's a good mantra for just regular people who aren't religious to like really understand too. Is just because, let's say you're a fan of Joe Rogan, you can't believe everything Joe Rogan says. Like, you have to take what he says in, process information. All right, this is BS. This is good. Take it with a grain of salt, I think, and form your own ideas.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier about people wanting to be in tribes, and I think that's kind of how it goes, right? Like, people, if you like someone, people tend to believe everything and anything that person believes or says, but that's not how it should be, right? You should kind of pick and choose what is beneficial and what's not. You should be able to decipher the bullshit from the shit that's actually good and beneficial towards you. And I think a lot of people don't know how to do that because of that like instinct that comes from a tribe, right? Like, if you were to question what your favorite person says, usually you're not part of that group anymore, right? Because you're not a real Joe Rogan fan, or you're not a real Andrew Tate fan, or whatever. So you kind of get shunned if you have different opinions, which I feel like is slowly starting to fade, right? At least I hope so, because I feel people should eventually be able to pick and choose. And like, I mean, it goes back to the same thing, right? Like Democrats and Republicans, right?
Yeah.
You have to agree with whatever they say to be part of that group, or else you're not part of that group, right? And so I feel like those barriers are slowly starting to be broken, and I think that's a great thing, right? So I can enjoy someone like Andrew Tate, but also disagree with him, and that's the beauty of where I'm at right now. I feel like you're in that situation too.
Yeah, I think that I think you're underestimating people. I feel like I see a lot of sheep. Like, I feel like I see a lot of people just taking, because we have TikTok and we have Instagram reels that are just throwing these 10-15 second clips. Andrew Tate says this. If you're an Andrew Tate fan, you have to believe it. Like, the Andrew Tate fans are believing it. If you have a Donald Trump fan, boom, they're believing it. If you have a Lizzo, boom, they're believing it. That's why I feel like I'm seeing more sheep, like more people that are just believing something but not really knowing the essence of what, like, there's a lot of context cut out of these clips and they don't know what's actually being talked about. So you have your misogynistic kids, 18-year-old men, being spawned from Andrew Tate clips because they're interpreted the wrong way, right? He's not trying to spawn misogynistic kids, but that could be a possibility because of, maybe something he does wrong. But these people are like, well, I have to believe that women ain't crap. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
but that also like people blaming Andrew Tate for how other people act or for how kids grow up or whatever. Like at some point, people have to take responsibility for themselves, right? You decide what you watch, and if you're a kid and you have parents, your parents decide what you watch. So at the end of the day, like he has freedom to do whatever he wants, but so do you. So if you end up doing something, you can't blame it on him, right? You gotta
100%.
take accountability and say I did this because that's who I am, not because I listened to Andrew Tate. You did what you wanted to do. You offended who you wanted to offend because of you. It's pretty simple. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to point fingers, right? Oh, well, it's because I listened to Andrew Tate. No, don't do that shit. Take responsibility and accountability.
Facts. I think that's 100% too. That's what I'm talking about, taking things for a grain of salt and like, just adding it to your pot, And I would recommend like the listeners right now, make sure that you have a solid moral compass, right? That you're not going to be contradicting yourself. And I think that's what a lot of these, what I call sheep or pseudo moralists, that's what they do is like they grab ideas that they directly contradict what they previously said that they believed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Take things from a grain of salt. If they directly contradict your morals, like okay, like you're gonna come off as a hypocrite. Like it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, 100%. Let us know what you guys think on that. Next, as you guys know, this episode goes up on a Saturday, which is every Saturday, on the dot at 11 a.m., which is New Year's Eve this Saturday. So we want to talk about our resolutions a little bit. I know you did a podcast on talking about your resolutions and stuff. So what are some of yours?
Well, before we get into that, I want to talk about how good of a year 2022 was. I don't know if you felt this too, and maybe it might be a little bit blurred for you, but we all know 2020 was shit. It's the whole COVID thing, lockdown, and I feel like we've kind of forgot about 2020 a little bit now, but it did take us till 2022 to kind of get out of it, because even 2021 we saw some BS going on and some repercussions based off of 2020. We weren't allowed to do much in 2020, and in 2021 there were still some restrictions. So I think 2022 was a really good year for me personally overall, because I have my baby boy and all that stuff. I don't want to get into that. Just speaking more broad, I think that we probably like 95% recovered from COVID, and I think just off of those terms, I think 2022 was a good ass year.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like things are finally back to normal. And then there was people that had said, right, experts that were like, things will never be back to normal. I remember hearing that all the time, but I feel like it's pretty much back to normal. Like it's rare to kind of feel like COVID still exists, at least for me, right? You still hear about people getting it and stuff, but it's not a big deal anymore. It's kind of just like the flu, right? Which is
I haven't heard of anybody get it like in a very long time. I mean, that's just my radar, right? But
yeah, I mean, the day I realized that this was kind of coming to an end was that when I was talking to my brother and I had COVID and then he had COVID, right? And so he called his work and they were like, "Oh, there's no such thing as COVID leave for us anymore. You just just do sick leave now. If you have COVID, it doesn't matter. It's just sick leave." So that's when I was like, "Oh, okay." So people are starting to kind of just acknowledge this as a normal sickness, right? Which means we're going back to normal. So
facts.
Yeah, that was a crazy realization. And I was like, man, we really were walking around with masks. We really were staying at home, buying all the toilet paper, not going to work. Like, there was a real phase that we went through that
panic phase.
Yeah, that we forgot.
Yeah, so I'm excited for 2023. I think that, I mean, for me personally, I have a lot of things to look forward to. One thing that I want to do is grow the new YouTube channel that I have. My goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers on that channel. I'm gaining about 100 a month
by the end of the year, right?
by the end of the year. I'm excited for that, dude, because that's always been my goal. Every YouTube channel that I've ever created, like
A
I've always
thousand,
wanted a
yeah.
thousand. Yeah, the
That's a
thousand's a big number for
milestone.
me.
That's a
Yeah,
milestone everyone
definitely.
chases.
And I think that it will get easier after that too. But who knows? We'll see when we get there. Um, my second goal is probably to finish the 3 books that I've started. The children books, which I've already prompted. Um, find out my career situation by
Uh-huh.
2023. I'm giving myself that, 2023 to like really just, throw all the marbles in and see what the hell is gonna happen with that. And then 4, pretty basic, but just be the best father and husband I can possibly be. Make more money too is probably my 5th one. Make more money than I did this year.
That's good, man. Mine are, well, that last one's kind of similar to mine. So I really only have 3, um, which I really want to be a nicer person. That's like one thing I really want to work on because um, as I get older, I don't know. I feel like, why am I being such a dickhead to all these people, you know?
That's
So
facts, bro.
I don't know. I just want to be a much nicer, kinder person. So that's one of my goals, which is old habits die hard, right? So I'm gonna have to really work at it because I'm a natural dickhead. So at least I acknowledge it, right? Most people don't. My next one is earn 2 times more. So my goal is to double my earnings this year, and I hope I'm able to do that. And my last one is to be in the best physical condition of my life.
Hey, that's a good one.
I feel like this year, I want to say like a few months ago, I started a fitness program that kind of changed my outlook on the way I look at fitness and health, because it's much more structure, and I feel like me as a person, I benefit from structure and having a schedule and someone that tells me what to do, right? Because if I'm kind of free to do my own thing, I won't really give it my 110% as opposed to someone pushing me and telling me, no, you have to do this, this, and this. So I feel like that's gonna help me. So I'm looking forward to next year for sure.
Yeah, you're not alone on that. I think that I think everybody can benefit from structure and routine, even if they don't like to admit it. But it's the whole accountability thing. Like you sign that mental contract with yourself that hey, I can't cheat on this. If you're just going on Abraham Lincoln, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you go on life just kind of like without a plan, without a written down routine, well then guess what? Like you're just gonna accomplish whatever, right? You don't have structure. So, but if you have something like okay, tomorrow this is what I got to do, and you accomplish it, those are just small goals that you're adding on, small accomplishments, and then you're eventually gonna lead to the bigger win at the end, which hopefully for you is accomplishing your best physique.
Yeah,
So that's
100%.
cool.
One thing I wanted to mention for any of you guys that are because I feel like that one's a huge one that everyone has, right? Is like a fitness thing. Like I want to start working out or I want to get in better shape, whatever it may be. That's like probably the most common one, right? Because everyone knows that's like the typical like gyms blow up and it's all right. So
Yeah.
one thing I want to share with you guys is I believe it's super important to get on a program for whatever your goals are. If you want to be a powerlifter, get on a powerlifter program. Bodybuilder program, whatever it may be. Just pick something and stick with it. Second, I wanna say to not work out at home. Because I feel like you and I can both agree that if we work out at home, our discipline is not the same because we're in our comfort zone, right? We're able
If you
to,
already struggle with discipline, working out at home is going to be even tougher for you.
yeah. You're going to find yourself procrastinating and letting yourself get away with stuff that you shouldn't be, right? If you're out in the public eye and are uncomfortable, you're going to have much more success with what you're trying to accomplish. So get out of your house and go to a real gym is what I would say.
Yeah, and for the people that are kind of skeptical about getting a program, you're like, oh, I don't want to waste that money. It's not wasting money. You're investing. You would go buy Starbucks, $10 Starbucks every day or 2 or 3 times a week, whatever you do. It's understand that it's an investment programs are like maybe they range $40 to it could go up to maybe 80 to 100. It really depends on what you're going for. But understand that that's what it's an investment into your health, which eventually trickles down to the rest of your life. You look good, you feel good, and it just
Oh yeah, 100%. If I go by that, if you look good, you feel good. That's one of the reasons why I get a haircut like once a week, is because mentally it's such a good, like, to look clean and feel good. It's such a mental boost that most people underestimate.
That's
You just know when you see a disheveled man that he's mentally going through something, right? So for sure. I was gonna say, that some programs even go cheaper than $40. Mine, for example, I have Matt Ogus's Ogus Daily. Shout out to Matt, my boy. His is 20.
Shout out to Brittany.
Brittany who? Renner or Grinner? Wait, Renner's I think Renner's a porn star. Or no? No, I think
you're talking about the basketball player, aren't you?
No, I meant to say Brittany Grinner,
right.
But Brittany Renner, I think, is an Instagram model.
Oh yes, she is. I was like, damn, bro, you just exposed yourself. That would have been funny. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, but his is only $27 a month. So,
nice.
And it's Matt is one of the most knowledgeable people when it comes to bodybuilding, in my opinion, right? Because he's super technical and scientific about the way he works out. So if you're interested in a cheap, reliable program that switches it up, gets you out of your comfort zone, and shows you real results, I would recommend that one for anyone.
For sure. At the end of the day, it all depends on your goals, but just trying not to get you all confused. August does like I don't know, what is it, like bodybuilding, I guess, type workouts.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't want to use the word bodybuilding because that'll scare a lot of people off. It's just people that go to the gym don't know how to use the machines. His program is going to be really good because, like Saul said, we've been following this guy for like probably almost a decade now, and he's extremely knowledgeable. He'll teach you how to use the machines correctly in the proper order, proper routines, and all that. So
yeah, he has a fat loss program as well. I think it's called like shredding or something. Most people are probably going to want that one, so definitely go for that one.
Yeah, Roger 10 for 10% off. 10% on.
10% on. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up. Oh wait, did you want to talk about one? Oh yes.
It's up to you. Depends on how much time we have.
We've been going for 28 minutes so far.
It's up to you. I don't care.
So all right, we'll bring this up real quick. So, Roger wanted to talk about this picture that was kind of going around Instagram, which is of Tom Brady,
the GOAT,
poolside with his son on his lap, kissing him in the back of the neck, right? Kind of just let me show you guys. I kind of can't explain. You guys just got to see. Here we go. Here it is right here. So, yeah, see, this is Brady, his son, and he's just kind of sitting there on his lap. And so people are going crazy over this picture. There's also this video right here, which is of Brady getting a massage.
You know, Jack, everything comes at a cost, bud.
That was like a peck.
The second kiss shared by father and son prompted tweets from viewers using words like very disturbing and uncomfortably long. So we asked New Yorkers what they...
Yeah. So as you can see, he goes and he kisses him twice on the lips, and the kid's 11 years old at the time, which I find no problem with that. I think it's uncommon, but I don't think there's anything weird going on there. I think that's just how their family is, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a lot more popular in Caucasian families than it is, Mexican or Hispanic.
Well, I kissed my mom on the lips until I was like 7, I want to say, or 8, which I feel like is still pretty late, right?
Yeah.
So I always thought that was weird, but this kid's 11 years old, but I don't find it that weird. I think it's just, tradition or whatever. I don't know. But the other part that people are freaking out is that now the kid's older, right? He's about 16, 17, around that age, and he's sitting on his father's lap, and he's still kissing him in the back of the neck, kind of being hugged from the back from his dad.
Yeah.
Now that to me is a little weird, right? I feel like he's getting a little too old now. Like, why is he sitting on your lap, pool size? I don't know. That to me is a little weird, I think.
Yeah. I think that's a cultural boundary that we have, because who knows? Like, he might see his son as just, he's still my baby boy, and sometimes parents can't, distinguish the age difference.
Yeah. I wonder how.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's gonna affect the kid, like, because to me that's like a sign of he's been babied, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna. Because I was babied until I was like 7, 8 years old. Like, I was fucking treated like a little ass baby. So, and I kind of hated that because I never really got any dominant like attributes, to me. So I can only imagine what this kid, if this kid was babied like that until now, 17 years old.
Yeah.
Man, and he's rich. Ugh. Yeah, not good. But yeah, as far as like the intention, I don't think it's anything malicious or weird going on. I just think
definitely he wouldn't post it, right? It's like him posting it himself too, right? So that's why I think, if it was somebody else taking a picture from super far and he got caught doing it, that's a little bit different. But it's like, he obviously think it's coming from an innocent heart because he's posting it. So it is a little bit weird. I think obviously people would be making a fuss about it if it wasn't weird, but I do think it's one of those things that it might be a cultural boundary that, Yeah, I know Hispanic culture, that's kind of weird.
No, yeah, but it definitely makes sense when you put it in the perspective of, oh, that's my little boy still. I still see him like that, which makes sense, right? But still a little odd, nonetheless.
For sure. I remember being in Little League Baseball, and this is like, I don't know what, I think it's like 9 years old, I think is the oldest you can be in Little League Baseball. I remember my dad kissing me one time on the nose, and I was like, first of all, my parents, from what I can remember, never really kissed me in the mouth ever, right? But my dad, like, we had won the game. I was like happy. I went to hug him, and he kissed me on the nose, and I was like, "Why you kiss me on the nose?" He's just like,
you asked?
Doesn't matter. Yeah. I was just like, "What the? You kissed me on the nose?" I said something like that, like, you kissed me on the nose. He's just like, "It's okay. Like, you're my son," something along those lines. And
well,
I thought that was a bit weird, but
yeah. Well, I think. I don't know. Were you raised with a lot of affection, like shown towards you?
That's what I'm saying. I never remember my kissing my parents in the mouth. Like that's never been a memory in my head. But I don't think it's weird that it happens.
I feel like the nose is a weird spot though, because he could have done the cheek, the forehead, but he chose the nose. It's a little weird.
Right smack in the middle.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone.
I kiss my boy in the nose.
Yeah, but
just because, well, he's a baby, right? But I don't want to like be kissing him on the lips, or like, the reason I kiss him on the nose is because I don't. His cheeks are sensitive, and I don't want them to get,
Yeah, I'm a forehead kisser. I think the forehead is like the best spot. Blank canvas.
Especially them girls with the crazy 5 heads.
Yeah, it's weird how like it's mostly girls, right? That you see with those big ass heads, right? Am I right or wrong?
You're right, bro.
I don't know. Like, men typically, I was thinking about how men go bald, but you rarely see women go bald.
I think about that too.
And I was thinking like it has to be testosterone, right? But I saw something that said that it's not testosterone, but it's a byproduct of testosterone. So it's something that testosterone causes, but it's not because of I don't know. It's weird. It's not because of testosterone. It's about something that pairs or comes from testosterone. Some shit like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was thinking about that. Like, I've never seen.
Hey, bro, imagine if girls like it was common that girls went bald. Hell
Oh
no.
man.
Hell no.
And I feel like white people go bald more than
Oh yeah,
than
bro.
any,
Like,
right?
yeah, bro. I have a couple of Caucasian friends from high school. Two of them, they're my age, 26, and
Bald.
them boys bald.
Yeah, that's weird. Does that just mean that they have more of that hormone or whatever that's like causing it? Like, I don't know.
Well, I don't know because isn't there like a Middle Eastern or might even be Indians that they don't
Go bald?
No, we were talking about this. There's a certain ethnicity out there that they just grow a lot of hair and they never lose it. You were talking about
Middle
it actually.
Easterns, I think.
There you go. Yeah, Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Where they have very nice hair,
like
thick throughout.
So I get mistaken for Middle Eastern sometimes because I have really thick eyebrows. I have a thick beard. I have full head of hair. So I think that's a lot of Middle Easterns. Like they have, like, all right, Fusi Tube, you know him, right? He has fucking thick eyebrows, super thick beard, but he lost all of his hair. So there is, those outliers. No pun intended.
Oh, pun intended.
Yeah, for sure. But I think we're going to wrap up this episode, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this beautiful, I was going to say Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Help Roger get to 1,000 subs by the end of next year at Roger Reacts. He's in the description. Go ahead and check out his podcast as well. He talked about Andrew Tate and what else did you talk about on
Andrew Tate, Elon Musk, and then basically several other political trending topics that happened in 2022.
Yeah, he has a guest on there as well. Go check that out. And yeah, guys, we'll see you guys again next week on the new episode. Peace. Thank you guys so much. Later.